Well, the first thing I probably need to do is figure out a gasket. That shouldn't be too tough. Get that tape off that shaft. Maybe wire wheel the splines so they slide in better. Get that ready for installation. Check the oil on it. Did some cleaning up on that shaft. Let's see how... Oh, I dropped you guys. Hope that didn't hurt. That's 2, 3, about 3.15. All right, let's go find a transfer. A little bit oversized, but you know what? It doesn't have to be super accurate. What is the OD on this? 3.75. Ooh. Well, the other option is, how about the inside? That's a little bigger. That would work. Just slightly bigger on the inside than what we need. Okay, I got a hole cut. That fits that pretty good. So what we're gonna do is just take this hammer and find the edge. Lightly tap. And maybe I'll get my, oh, I got there. Oh, there's another ear there. Oh no, it just changes angle. Let's see, make sure I'm good there still. But if the metal has a good clean edge, it'll cut her off pretty good. Without having to beat it hard. Now let's see if the ball peen end will get my... Ouch. Look at that. That'll help hold that in place. Open this up a little more. Shifted any? Nope. Put another bolt in to help hold that in place. Oh, stay where you're supposed to be. I need to rotate this baby around. And probably get a couple more bolts. My gasket material is actually the piece of cardboard they put under seed bags on the pallet. But it works pretty good for stuff like this. Uh-oh, I missed the hole. I guess I cut a little crooked. It will be okay. Well, I've gone this far. I might make just a little, stuff a little piece in it so it doesn't draw down a little cockeyed and express the cast iron. Or I could cut out another piece and do it again. It's been a few days. The weather finally cooperated. I'm back out in the field running beans, and the PTO unit is still not back on, but that is this morning's goal. I got a heavy dew, so it's gonna be the afternoon before I can, you know, run them. They get tough. Imagine like a saltine fresh out of the pack. That's when you're harvesting things like wheat and soybeans, and then let that saltine sit out on a humid day, and it's more like a rope. And that's what happens to wheat and soybeans when they get damp. They no longer feed through good. And I did plug the combine one morning, started a little too soon. Fortunately, it's got power reverse, and I never had to get out of the operator seat to unplug it, but I still don't like doing it. So anyways, the short of that is we're gonna let things dry off and work on this PTO unit. And the reason I show you this nasty, dirty spot on my floor is you may have seen Alan's 1650 on the auger in a short. Well, it came back to get a few leaks fixed. So we had the hydraulic unit out, put a new seal in the hydraulic pump, basically anything that comes to the outside, dry it up, and keep oil where it needs to be. And so I run it on the auger some just to see how things were gonna go, and so far so good. It is keeping its oil in the hydraulic compartment, and none is leaking out to the outside. And staying the same level on the dipstick. So, you know, I think we'll call that a success. Alan's gonna wanna get it soon. He uses it to clean snow in his subdivision. But, so where I'm at here is darkness. So much darkness. I wanna clean up this face where the PTO mounts. And so I'll chase out the thread holes, because I'm sure they've never had anything in them other than crud all these years. I still gotta disconnect this hose. I looked at the 990, and the PTO unit should go under the platform, and there's a lot more to removing that platform than I thought. So we're gonna try to slip her in there. Oh, that one LED light's deciding to come on. And I'd probably disconnect this here just to have it out of the way. So that's where we're at. So let me think, you know, let me make things happen. It's probably as clean as it's gonna get until I remove that cover off. Okay, don't worry about this, doctor's orders. Well, that let go. Part of it's this extension, kind of wallered out, homemade repair, you know, jank. Let's remove the extension. There we go. Those holes should be clean because nothing's been in them since the factory other than these short little bolts. And, well, you'd think there'd be the book shows a gasket, but I do not see a gasket. Huh. Oh, an O-ring. Interesting. Maybe I didn't look close enough at the book. Well, let me scrape that off rather than, you know, just kicking it all around with the grinder wheel thing. Let's see what we see. I see a transmission. Oh, yes. I don't know how well we'll be able to see it, but come on, wake up. I get this just right. And maybe if I digitally zoom in, but I do believe I see splines to drive the PTO up there at the flywheel. So yay. And there's would assume there's oil in the rear end. It might need some. But yes, the good news is they put the spline hub in from the factory, and I can, you know, slide this in and know it's gonna work. Good news on the 1750 front. Yesterday morning, I went and I picked up the block and the rods. And the reason it took so long was my machinist had loaned out his tool that he cuts counter bores with. Because I sent a sleeve, told him to go ahead and clean up the top of the block, mill a little off. He ended up taking 5/1000ths off that. So we're definitely gonna have to adjust sleeves because they were protruding about 5/1000ths with a 2/1000ths shim. So that means they were, without a shim, about 3/1000ths, but then you take another getting ahead of myself with my math, take another 5 off, that means they're probably gonna be protruding about 8/1000ths, which is twice the maximum. So, but I told him just go ahead and do what he's gotta do to the block, minus the counter bores. Good friend of mine, Adam. Hey Adam, I'm guessing you're probably watching this at some point. Said I could borrow his, this is rude, borrow his counter bore tool, or I might do what I did on the 1955 and took the sleeves to a machinist and just had him knock, in that case, I think about 2.5 thousandths off the bottom lip of each sleeve, and that got her where she needs to be, and she ain't leaked, so it worked. It's like either way, we need to move the top of that sleeve down, I guess, whether it comes from the block. Probably the smart thing would be to do the block, and that way it's a good clean surface. I've got a junk block that I can practice on before I, you know, ruin my good block. So probably what I'm going to end up doing. If he'd only done a couple thousandths, we might have been all right, but in looking at it, it needed it. I don't know if, I think it was flat, but there was a lot of pitting. I think it's going to do a better job of sealing with that nice clean surface. We don't want to do it twice. So there we are. I've got my handy dandy headless 5/8 bolts, or I just, you know, chopped the head off the 5/8 bolt to use as guide pins. I think these two should go all the way through without issue. All the way through the unit, that is. Because these two would probably be harder to get out once it's in. These two might work, but we're shooting for these two. Hell, I guess wrong. I think these two, the lower two, are going to be my best shot. That one's going to hit the housing. That one would probably hit the housing. This one will definitely not. Let's just spin one out of there and do this. Yep. But you can see, definitely a no. Also a no. All right, glad I double checked that. Well, it's gonna be fun. Let's see, I think we wanna slide the drawbar over. That'll be one less thing in the way. It's gonna be a snug fit cab. And, you know, come on, baby. They knew they meant business when they designed this drawbar. I'll get that out in a moment. Now, before we stuff it under there, I feel like there's probably no oil in it. But one way or another, we're gonna check it because it's a lot easier to get to now than later. Nothing jumping out. I will open this one up and use it as a fill hole. And I won't be able to get it all the way in because of the cab and floor panel, but I'll be able to get the shaft started fairly well. And then, I don't know, we'll figure something out from there. Something crazy, something ugly, who knows? This is the second one of these pumps, Phillips, whatever. I don't know where the heck we got it. Looks like a grease gun, but with a tube. So you can, suck up and apply oil to places like this. But I would say this unit was dry, which I had a feeling. Hope that means it's freshly rebuilt. I should probably pull that cover off and look at the clutch. Or make sure there's one in there. It says, please, sir, give me more. I guess if that's what it takes. If you're wondering what this side plate is, this one down here, this side plate is if you wanted a belt pulley, took that cover off and the shaft went in and drove off from things somehow or another. And your belt pulley would be right here. Oh, I didn't get as much oil on that draw. Definitely holds more than a 77 or 88. Let's feed it some more. Whew. Beginning to think that had an infinite supply hole or something. It just kept going. I don't know, it took like 4 of these pumps, a little more. A couple more only half full, so it's hard to say. But it's got oil in it now. I'm glad I checked it. Now I've made a mess. Boy, that would have been a lot more fun doing underneath that floor panel. And I say fun when I mean not fun. Okay. Whew. I've got the handle off at the moment, but boy, everything looks pretty clean in there. I would say this was it was a rebuilt unit. They hadn't even gotten around to putting the oil in it and never put it on a tractor because this is the way I bought it. So I'm not even going to take that cover off because what I'm seeing through there looks like nothing to you, but it's all clean. So I'm going to say it's good. Okay, my make-believe gasket is on the shaft. And, I guess we're ready to stick it. Oops. And let's see what we see. Ooh, that's it. Now the interesting part. I'm up against the cab. So I'm thinking floor jack to the rescue, at least for a little ways. I can slide this gasket up on those pins. Pin. Probably I'm gonna wish I didn't take that or put the oil in it, because I'll probably have to take that bottom cover, but even the gear will stick down. Man, that's gonna be a tough one. Yeah, that ain't gonna go. Biscuits. The other solution would be drop the drawbar. Oh man, that thing looks heavy. stick.
Sorry, Mama.
Just no ifs, ands, or buts. It's gonna have to hang a little low at first to get underneath the platform. Oh, biscuits. Biscuits, biscuits, biscuits. That's what she needs, though. What do? You just get more complicated, that's all. So here's what's going on. I'm trying to turn the baby. And it's kind of working, but I think the shaft is caught where the coupler is in front of the transmission. And this thing is heavy. Oh, come on, baby. The progress so far, ugly yet effective. Now I gotta drop this back down so that can get past. But I think it was kind of hooked where the clutch shaft meets input shaft to the transmission, and I finally got to bump past that. Probably, playing with fire. But it sure beats taking a bunch of stuff off. Okay. Get that floor pan to kick up a little bit right there. There we go. Yeah, where are you? There you are. Oh, it's so close now I can almost taste it. I just got that one more knob corner thing to get over, and I think I'll be golden. There. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now to let it down and to hang almost normally, looks like it should go in just a little farther yet. So close. There. Oh my goodness. Now I think I need to wheel the jack back in so I can get it high enough to get on those guide pins I've got in there. And then I'll think we'll be golden. A little bit high. There's one. And there's two. Oh yeah. I don't think it's close enough to be engaging the splines yet. Okay. Well, I was wrong. This pin was not going to clear. It was just catching that. So once I took that out, boom. Boom shakalaka. Wow. Just like that, it's engaged. If only it could have been that easy the whole time. That was a workout. I think it needs to go up just a hair and in. Oh, it started. Oh my goodness. It's a miracle. Got a little Ophelia washer on there. A little let it know where its roots are. Although from this tractor's perspective, that was in the future. Okay, am I off? Another one started. It's nice that my gasket holes are lining up, other than this bottom corner. We'll adjust that in a moment. Get this guide pin on the other side out. So that makes 5 out of 6. One more. Where's my lock wire? There it is. Yeah, I can see the gasket's overlapping the hole just a little bit. Oh my, it's in. Just needs tightened down. Okay, it might be lunchtime, but this is getting tightened down. Well, I wonder if the PTO is on, because now I can't turn the shaft. Let's hope that. I looked out in a little bit, but it's been overcast. I don't think I'm going to get a very early start on beans today. What does that do? Yesterday, started at 1. They were still going slow, and they had soaked up, even though it was just dew. They went from 11% backed up to 15. They did get back down to 11 again by the end of the day, but it's not exactly. I don't like throwing them in the bin at 15, but I can put air to them. So now you know how easy it is to throw a PTO unit on a Super 99 with a cab. And the answer is not easy at all. I guess at least I didn't have to drop the drawbar. That bugger is heavy. Well, if there weren't splines up there at the engine, this is staying on. Unless it makes some god-awful noise. But I'm pretty sure I could see the splines up there. The other side here is... Stop it. There. We'll pick up in a moment. Okay, bolts are all tightened down. Let's see if we can get a PTO lever on there. Okay, lever is installed. PTO turns. PTO. Cannot turn PTO. That's a good sign. Ow! Yeah, that's a bad sign. Don't stick your hand in there when you pull the lever back. All I gotta do is rob a battery out of the 990. This has 1 3/4" 540 shaft. Let's look at that thing. Woo! And so that will not fit my auger, but the 990 has an adapter on it, and it has a battery in it. Other than that, I think we might be ready to test it out. Ouch. So I'm in here to get some exercise and move a battery. Here's something I noticed when I was running the 990 on the auger the other day. If you watched the video of me doing the water, or the thermostat on the Super 99, I had so much trouble replacing this hose. This is just like a corn husk that was laying around. But to demonstrate, there is just ever so slight clearance the whole way down. Well, and it cuts off. But I think the short and skinny of that story is I need to check casting numbers, but I think I got a Monday water neck or something, because I think this is out just a little bit farther where they cut, drilled it and tapped it for the pipe nipple. And that's just enough to where that I could see light through there when I was headed outside. So this one would be a breeze. But the Super 99, not so much. Is it the Super 99? Or is it the 990? I brought it back into the shop because, of course, this coupler has probably been on there since 1958 or somewhere in there when the tractor was new, and does not want to give up the ghost. And, as things were kind of oily, I thought it's going to be all right. But the bolt that goes through it was rusty. And so I'm going to try to work some magic. May have to put some heat to it. I found one online to the tune of $100. I'm like, yeah. That's just, but may have to do that. It's not very common to find a adapter for 1 3/4 down to 1 1/8 for 540. Let's see. Probably should get some more light in here for your viewing pleasure. Of course, that one ain't gonna. It does have a couple of clamp slots that I'm hoping I can knock a chisel into and loosen things up. The fight does not go well. That bugger is on there. I heated it up some, but I didn't want to burn the seal out and have the thing still stuck on there and all the oil leaking out. With the ratchet strap pulling on it and tapped on it. Probably messed up the splines a little bit right there. So at this point, probably the smart money is to just get myself another adapter for the Super 99 and get over it. So that's what I think I'll do. There's not many options out there. Okay, I found an adapter that ain't gonna break the bank, so we're gonna give up on this, and it'll just have to be a few more days before the Super 99 gets to run an auger, but I got corn coming up, and I still think I'm gonna fire it up and make sure it actually turns. Okay, it's not turning in the off position. Let's pull it outside, and then we'll check and see with better light. I say call that better light, but the sun's been out a couple times today. It's about the extent of it. I don't really see. It's almost 3 o'clock now. I don't think the beans are going to get dry enough to run today. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah. Spinny, spinny. Only I had that adapter. Now stop spinning. There it goes. Or stops. Cool beans. Got a Super 99 with PTO, just some freaky large size. I've got an adapter coming. I found one with shipping. It's gonna be about 45 bucks, much better than the 100 to 200 bucks I was finding. Who knows when it'll get here. It's a place I never heard of, so if it comes through, I'll let you know, but in the meantime, I'm not gonna promote them. So yeah, let's warm it up, do a little road trip. I'll go look at those beans and see if they really are dry enough. Yeah, I think there's one injector that's just not doing the best. Got some cleaner in the tank, so I'd like to think that, working it some would help this stuff clear up. little bit chewy. Yeah, still kind of tough. Thanks, Matt. It's my cue to go hand out some Halloween candy. Bro, Massey's getting dirty, all that bean dust. We'll drive this around some more and see if we can't, you know, get it to run a little better now that it can warm up. Definitely wet stacking. And now PTO not quite shutting off. There. Guess the handle had wandered forward a little bit. also want to thank Sean and his dad, Francis, for helping me get this PTO unit from Wisconsin here to Michigan. Really appreciate it, guys. Probably, I don't know if you can see it back in there, but it is installed. And one of these days I'll have an adapter and I'll actually be able to use it. Also, Sean, thank you for the cheese curds. Yum, yum.